Hello and welcome to Cancer season. If you're just tuning in for the first time to Embodied Astrology, my name is Renee. Welcome back to all my longtime listeners. I'm so happy to be here with you. Your Cancer season horoscopes are coming right up, but first I need to tell you a couple of things. 1, I have recorded horoscopes for Cancer, Leo, Virgo, and Libra seasons all together in the last week. They're going to be edited, so you'll be getting your readings as the seasons start, but I need you to know this for 2 reasons. 1, you're going to see me looking pretty much the same for the next few months. And also, I'll be expanding on some themes that are continuous across this stretch of time, which is basically from the end of June until the end of October in 2025. Also, I want to tell you that I did this because of what I see upcoming in this year's astrology. Surprise, surprise. It is a lot of change, and I wanted to create some more space for myself to get out of my comfort zone and business as usual so that I can be more responsive to some of the changes that are happening in my life, including here at Embodied Astrology. I also wanted to tell you this because it's a great time for any of us to get out of our comfort zones and business as usual. So if you've been feeling a bit restless lately, or like you're anticipating something, or maybe just that you need a change, please, 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 my friends, schedule ahead and plan to disrupt your own rhythms so that you can be available and actively participate more generously with the changes that are trying to happen, especially in the next 4 months. On that note, I have done my best to outline what I see happening in the next months and years astrologically, and I'm including a bonus reading for the collective in Cancer season in this season's offerings. This is about a 20-minute listen, and you can find it linked in the show notes or wherever you found this reading. Please listen to it. There are some messages I really want to share with you. And finally, as I mentioned a moment ago, and as you'll hear me talk about in the bonus reading, there are some changes upcoming at Embodied Astrology. Now, if you've followed my work for a while, you know that I am not here to be a brand. I'm not trying to dominate the astrology sphere or convince anyone that I have all the answers that you need. In fact, Embodied Astrology is a project that is increasingly committed to democratizing astrology and engaging with it as an emergent strategy that anyone can access as a lens for mapping time, revealing complexities, and helping us understand how we got here, what we're doing, and what the deeper potentials are in any given situation or relationship. As the challenges of living together on planet Earth intensify, human beings need truly non-binary languages that can help us bridge the gaps between our own biases and experiences. The synthesis of embodiment practice and astrological thinking is one way we can create this kind of language. At EA, this is what we're investing in. We're putting our resources towards designing and maintaining study groups where people come together to work together. We're actively fostering co-leadership and co-authorship and creating spaces where astrology can expand its potentials through application with other modalities such as conflict transformation, design thinking, urban planning, psychotherapy, and more. Everything we offer is always offered with flexible pricing and sliding scales. Unless capacity is limited, no one is ever turned away for lack of funds. And we consistently redistribute at minimum 10% of our net profits to Indigenous-led environmental protection projects and mutual aid for under-resourced communities. So this brings me to a request, which is this. If you have ever benefited from our work, if you enjoy my monthly readings, if you attend our events, or think you want to someday, please help us to continue to grow and expand our work. In the next 6 to 12 months, my personal goal is to start funding an emergent astrologer space, where the work of a diverse group of astrologically oriented practitioners from many different backgrounds can research and produce writing, art, education, and other kinds of content that is specifically focused on meeting the practical, spiritual, and relational needs of right now. I know that times are tough and budgets are tight, but if every one of our listeners donated $1 a month, we would meet 100% of our operating costs, and we'd be able to not only keep creating monthly horoscopes and regular podcasts for free and offering all of our classes and workshops at sliding scale, but we'd also be able to do so much more. As if this wasn't already an exchange, we are working on a special membership for donors of all amounts, but things like that also cost money to map out and administer, and our team is small and our resources are limited. One thing I can say is that within the next few months, we will be rolling out an ad-free content space. And for the time being, in order to support the work we're trying to grow, we are turning on ads on all of our distribution channels. I know it's annoying. I also know you know how to fast forward. But please know that we're only using them so that we can stay here. If you appreciate this work, please support it. You can sign up for a recurring donation or a one-time donation of any amount in the show notes below. You can also support our work so much by sharing it with your friends and networks and helping boost us on the algorithms by liking, subscribing, and commenting. Another great way to support this work is to purchase our products like the 2025 year ahead readings for your sun, moon, and rising signs, which are all discounted now by 25% because we're halfway through the year. And finally, one of the best ways to support us is to attend our events because most of what we do actually isn't streamed on a podcast. You can find me every Monday in my weekly virtual class on Zoom, Somatic Space, where I offer week ahead astrology forecasts and gentle adaptive movement, meditation, and visualization practices to help us make the most of the current transits. If you become a Somatic Space member, you'll also get access to our twice monthly chart reading study groups, led by my colleague Alisha Mawji, where you can learn more about your chart and astrology through conversation and connections with wonderful people who just might become wonderful friends. We also have regular workshops and events, such as what I'm calling our upcoming reunion tour, with 3 facilitators who have been enormous parts of making embodied astrology what it is: Junata Petrus, Ramon Gabrieloff-Parrish, and Sherry Taylor. Junata is a Cancerian, and she's up first for a very special Cancer season offering of soul sweetening. We'll be leading together and taking turns offering prompts to embody, contemplate, and create with Cancerian energetics and practices we've each cultivated to support us personally through big feelings, trying times, when bonds feel tender, and when uncertainties abound. If this sounds like something you want and need, it's here for you, live or recorded. No one turned away for lack of funds. Okay, thanks for hanging in with me and listening to all of this. You can find more information about everything I just mentioned in the show notes. Please find my reading for the collective for an important general message for Cancer season. And now, onto your horoscopes. Hello, Aries. Welcome to Cancer season. Cancer is an important sign for Aries. Both Cancer and Aries are on what's called the cardinal cross, your cardinal energies, cardinal signs. That means that your seasons begin at the quarterly turning markers of the year. Aries begins at an equinox, Cancer begins at a solstice. Both of your energies are initiatory and move into the actions of some new kind of vibe. Aries is a fire sign, Cancer is a water sign. Fire and water are not necessarily complementary elements. As you know, water puts the fire out, but sometimes fire needs some water. Sometimes we have to cool down. And there's a lot going on in Aries these days. The outer planets Saturn and Neptune have recently entered your sign. And I feel like Cancer season is coming in with some hydration for you. I think that this watery season is hopefully going to be a helpful one and one that is nourishing and restorative for your Aries placements. I feel that there is likelihood that this season has some gifts to give you, especially because Jupiter has recently entered Cancer and it will be here for an entire year. Jupiter is what some astrologers fondly call the Santa Claus of the planetary pantheon. There's a lot out there about Jupiterian energy as benefic energy, the kind of energy of good luck and good fortune and optimism and expansion. Now, in my experience with astrology and also with just life in general, it's never really that simple. Things aren't usually just good or bad. And Jupiter's energy can bring things other than opportunities and good luck, especially when we are not tone matching with Jupiter. And one of the ways that I have really felt astrology to be powerful and potent and actually really practical. Like when it comes to magic, I think astrology is practical magic because it helps us get in tune with the vibe of a current period of time, or with like the needs of particular experiences that we might be having in our lives. And as one of my astrological mentors has said to me a number of times, every time is good if you know what the time is good for. And what the time is good for is not always what we wish it would be good for. All that to say, Jupiter's presence in Cancer can bring a whole lot of things. And because Cancer and Aries are at a square with one another, for Aries folks, this could also be bringing some amount of tension. Now, I think that this tension is a dynamic, creative, and important kind of tension for you. And the feeling that I get, especially for Aries placements, is that it is really important that we have support from our relationships and that we have nurturing places to be and can kind of like let go of our efforts and relax and be at home, or have the feeling of being at home. It is so important that we can have all of those things in general, but especially if we are trying to be strong, or be powerful or get shit done. And Aries is an energy that wants to be strong. It wants to be powerful. It wants to get shit done. This sign, your sign, is about individuation and actualization. Your sign wants to take risks. It wants to be bold. It wants to be a leader. But all leaders need times that they can stop leading and take a rest and get some support. And Cancerian energy is all about rest and support and the communal, collective, familial aspects of what can bring all of that. And for the Aries solar charts, Cancer takes the 4th place, which is related to the 4th sign, Cancer. And so this season is really asking you to pay attention to what supports you in your efforts. And that definitely includes the earth and the land underneath you. You are resourced all the time by Mother Earth. And if you feel overwhelmed, overextended, scared, like if you're having a human moment of living through 2025 and you're like, oh my gosh, how do we move forward from here? Maybe it's time to go lay down on the earth and receive some of that grounding support and earthing support. I think that earth energy really helps everybody get in touch with what's most intelligent and important in our own consciousness. The earth is our ultimate home, where we come from, where we will return to, and what we are made of. And then, of course, we have various places that we might call home, or people and communities that we might feel at home with or search for home with. There are so many ways that people experience home and family, and these are really important for you right now. And with Jupiter's presence in Cancer, I want to encourage you to reflect back. 12 years ago, the last time Jupiter was in Cancer was in 2013 and 2014. And remember what was happening in your life around that time, particularly in regards to home and family, maybe specifically in your relationships with your parents or caregivers or other people who were really important for you in your early life. You might consider your relationship to land and to place and to the ways that you feel at home in your own self, your stability, your foundation, your sense of belonging. And over the last 12 years, of course, you have grown a lot. You have learned a lot. What was happening in 2013 and 2014 that you can reflect back to now to help you orient into the next 12-year cycle? So in 2037, maybe I'll still have this job and I'll be encouraging you then to reflect back to 2025. What kinds of choices and intentions can you focus on now that can help grow your experiences of home and family in the ways that you want? And of course, you don't know who you're going to be in 12 years, but you can make offerings to that person. And you can also make offerings to the larger sense of home and family that you are a part of in whatever ways that makes sense to you. Maybe you have children, maybe you have grandchildren, maybe you are a person who thinks about the kind of work that you do or the ways that you are in the world and how that will affect the coming generations. And of course, the earth is your home. I would definitely encourage you to tune in with the ways that you can be generous with home and family, and also with your future self and their experience with home and family now, and maybe set some intentions for yourself moving forward in the next 12 years that can help you grow in these realms. Now, I mentioned tone matching a moment ago and talked about how working practically with astrology for me is really about tuning in with what the energies are wanting from us. And Jupiter is an energy of expansion and opportunity and good fortune and generosity, but it can also be an energy that is a little unrealistic. It can get overinflated. It can be arrogant and kind of like get into control and self-righteousness. And in my experience of working with Jupiter in my own life, there is a slap back when Jupiter's energy moves through us in ways that are self-aggrandizing, arrogant, controlling, and I'm going to say like overinflated. And so I just want to put that out there as something to be cautious of and something to be aware of. And then I also want to say that I think that generosity is such a magnetic energy. And something that I say a lot and I really believe is that abundance thrives in conditions of generosity. We have so much here on planet Earth. And when I say we, I mean everybody who is part of the Earth in a kind of existential way. We have been given an amazing gift to be alive on a totally magical, amazing planet that really provides for us. And in the human experience, of course, not everybody has so much, and many people are experiencing profound scarcity and lack, and some people are hoarding and have way more than they need. And generosity is not something that is taught and practiced everywhere in the same ways, and particularly in Northern Western cultures, and I speak English, so I assume that a lot of my audience are people who live or are from Northern and Western cultures. We are not really given good examples of generosity. A lot of what we're given in cultural examples are examples of individualism and a kind of individualist meritocracy that really upholds the idea that it's okay to hoard all kinds of things and be in competition with one another. And I think that this is a real moral kind of injury for a lot of people. I genuinely believe that people really want to share, and that when we can share in ways that are met with reciprocity, that is such a gift to everybody. I remember reading at one point a story about Native Hawaiians before Hawaii was colonized. And the story that I was reading was talking about how in like the indigenous culture, it was expected that people would work for a couple of hours in the morning, and that the work was to take care of everybody. So growing food, taking care of the home, taking care of, the things that need to get taken care of. Life is full of chores. But then the rest of the day was play. It was art. It was ceremony. It was being with family. It was enjoying the abundance of life. And you might have engaged with the kinds of fantasies that I've engaged with a lot, like what kind of world would we live in if people would just share with each other? And instead of orienting towards personal gain, if we had the ethic of improving one another's lives, like if that's how we moved out into the world, was how can I make your life better? But that, it wasn't just one person feeling like that was just how culture worked. Sometimes I think, oh my God, we would just be having such a great time because there really is enough. There is plenty. There's plenty of resource on earth. Every single person has so much to offer, so much intelligence, so many skills, such a unique perspective. And if everybody has the orientation of helping each other out, then there's plenty of help and people get the care that they need and the attention that they need. And then what would we do? Well, we'd probably have a good time. Life would be fun. Anyway, I don't mean to go off on a tangent, but all that to say, this season, I feel like a lot of Aries might be in some kind of fantasy space like that, because not only is Jupiter in Cancer, this place where Jupiterian energy is exalted and magnified, and the best kind of Jupiterian energy is generosity. And Jupiter is considered to be exalted in Cancer because Cancer is an energy that wants to take care of people and build family. And when we tone match with Jupiter in that way, through generosity and care and consideration and taking care of the many, then Jupiter's presence brings us good luck and good fortune. Abundance thrives in conditions of generosity. When we give, often we receive. And there are many cultures in the world that have considered wealth to be how much somebody can give, not necessarily how much somebody can keep. In addition, Mercury moves into Leo on the 26th of June, and it will be there for a while because it will be retrograding, starting right at the end of Cancer season on July 18th and stationing direct on August 11th. And for Aries, Leo is the place of play. And so that long tangent that I just went on actually had a purpose. And I was telling you that story for a reason. And the reason is because I feel that a lot of you are working really hard right now. And especially with Saturn in your sign, the pressure is on. And you might be feeling particularly pressured in your body, in your mind, in your life. Survival is a challenge. And I think that a lot of you are just feeling necessity right now, and the necessity of survival, however that might look like and feel like in your life. But in Cancer season and into Leo season, I think that a lot of you are also feeling the necessity of thriving, and that thriving really feels like having enough and having community and family and connection, again, whatever you make out of those words. And being able to play and being able to relax and enjoy the good things in life. Now, of course, that is not always possible in every given moment. And unfortunately, we do not live in a world where people have really prioritized collective well-being. And so it really is a challenge to survive, and definitely is a challenge to thrive in a lot of our lives and for a lot of reasons. But we are also living in revolutionary times, and Aries is known for being a leader, and you have a lot that's going on in your chart right now that leads me to feel that you are an influencer of some kind. And I don't mean like an influencer on social media, although some of you may be. I mean that you are a person who has influence in the world. Especially right now, you have some things happening in your chart, definitely including Pluto moving through your 11th house, that gives you a kind of power and magnetism when it comes to the ways that you are connected with groups and influence. And this season is a season where I feel that a lot of you are really needing to reclaim some of your joy, some of your passion, some of your vitality and sense of entitlement to enjoy your life. Mercury's retrograde is definitely a kind of feeling about this. And I want to encourage you to think about how community and family and home and friends can help you be and do and experience life in the ways that you want to. And some of how they might be able to help you could be initiated through your example, Aries. Okay, so now that I've rambled on for 18 minutes, let me get into the astrological landscape of Cancer season and see if I can tie all this together. The first week of Cancer season, it feels tense. So this tension between the need to rest, the need to feel a sense of safety and belonging, and also you are under some pressure right now. I think a lot of you are trying to maybe improve yourself or improve your lives, or you're taking something really seriously, or you have some new dream and vision for your life and what it's going to look like. And the balance between personal effort and like relational ease is something that feels like there's some dynamic tension in it, especially in the first week of Cancer season. And Jupiter is here, and we have a new moon on June 25th, and this is coming the day after Jupiter makes its conjunction with the sun. That's something that happens once every year, but it only happens once every 12 years in Cancer. And this is a powerful moment for you to set intentions, as I've already mentioned, around home and family, what those words mean to you, a sense of greater belonging, and also collective care or community care, and the ways that resources might be able to be shared, or time, attention, and energy can support individuals to live their lives in the ways that turn around and serve the community. There is such a profound balance between self-actualization and interdependence. Our communities could thrive with individuals who are really supported to give their best gifts and be fully themselves. And I feel, Aries, right now that you have a lot of energy for this, and that many of you are really working hard to be your best self. And you want to bring that home. You want to bring that to your family, to the people who you care about. And you also really want and need care and comfort and rest. All of that to say, ask for what you need, and remember that your needs are part of a larger whole. And in this larger whole, there is so much that's happening right now that is ready for change. And I think that a lot of people around you want to be connected with you in ways that can help you be strong. And a lot of people around you also want to be strong in ways that your connection can help. So if you feel that there are any possibilities for you to share resources with people who you care about, or work together to create conditions of safety, security, comfort, foundation, and belonging, this is a really powerful use of your energy and attention at this time. Now, with Mercury's retrograde, or pre-retrograde shadow, I should say, from the 29th of June until the 18th of July, as I already mentioned, I feel that a lot of you are really aware of a need to kind of like be rejuvenated and replenished in your own energy. I don't know when the last time is that you really felt like you got to let loose and have some fun, Aries, but I hope that you make a plan to do exactly that sometime in this Mercury cycle, anytime between the end of June and the end of August. If you can carve out some space to do something that you love, that brings you delight and joy, that helps you feel like you get to lose track of time and space, enter into a flow, express yourself authentically, that is so much of what you need right now. And I think that a lot of you maybe it kind of feels like maybe you're experiencing a sense of like creative lull a little bit, and you're like, where's my creative energy? Am I even a creative person? I don't know. You are. Just being alive, you are a creative person. Living a life is part of creation, right? All the choices you make are part of your creative act, your big opus of your life. And I do think that a lot of you are really in need of some kind of creative renewal. And you might notice that I'm mentioning a lot of words that start with RE, because the RE prefix is important for the retrogrades. So rejuvenate, renew, replenish. These are words that I feel like you really want to bring into your life and your consciousness in July and August in whatever ways they make sense to you. I do think that there is a renewal of your creative energy that is coming soon. I'm going to talk to you more about it in your Leo season reading. But what I want to say for right now is strategize. And if you're listening to this in Cancer season, then look forward into Leo season. If you don't have plans yet to do something that is fun, that is rejuvenating, that is replenishing, that feels like you get to reclaim some parts of yourself that are playful and spontaneous and childlike, make your plans. Make your plans right now. I don't know what those kinds of activities are for you, but anything that is playful, that's creative, that's artistic, anything that feels fun, romantic, your favorite hobbies, your favorite pastimes, this is really so important for you to get some of this energy right now. The last thing I'm going to say about the astrology in Cancer season is that big shifts are coming up as we move into the month of July. Neptune and Saturn will both be stationing retrograde in your sign. As I mentioned, they both only recently came into your sign in the last months of this year. So Neptune will station retrograde on July 4th. Saturn will station retrograde on July 12th. They'll both be moving back into the sign before yours, which is Pisces. Saturn moves back into Pisces in early September, and Neptune around the end of October. And this to me feels a little bit like you're in some kind of process. And I think this year, a lot of you have been initiating new courses of action for yourself when it comes to just self-development. This, of course, could look so many different ways, but I feel like you have some kind of new idea about your life and the shape that it's going to take. And over the next couple of months, as Neptune and Saturn station retrograde, it could be that some of your ideas start to feel a little hazy or confusing, or you lose track of them. You might feel more tired than you have for a while, or it may be that a lot of you have been working hard, as I've already said, and it starts to catch up with you and you really need some rest. So I also want to encourage you to forecast forward into the future. I'm really looking at like November and December as periods of time when I would say get some rest. Anytime between like September and the end of the year would be good for that, but especially like the month of November, they're both retrograde in Pisces at that point. And I think that a lot of you just like, you need time and space to rest. You need to let go of some of the seriousness and sense of like duty and responsibility that you've been carrying. You also, I think, like need to get back in touch with some dreams that you have. And I don't know what this means, but it's like longing, it feels like you need to get in touch with your soul. So as they station retrograde the first 2 weeks of July, if you feel your energy shifting or if you do feel some more fatigue, just know that these transits are coming up and do what you can to give yourself space and time to recover, repair, rejuvenate, right? The RE words are important here too. And then I also want to encourage you in this kind of vein of what I was talking about with the Mercury retrograde in Leo, to nourish yourself with creativity. And I think a lot of you might really benefit right now from taking in poetry and art and music. The feeling that I get is like you've been really intentional, you've been serious, you've been practical, you've been applying yourself, and your soul is thirsty, like your soul is hungry. You need art, you need poetry, you need romance, you need enlivenment, you need hydration, right? Like you need a big drink of good water. And Pisces is water, Cancer is water. So whatever that might ping for you in your consciousness, let me know in the comments. But I just hope that you can take care of yourself on a soul level a little bit this season. And then finally, Uranus is moving into Gemini. On July 7th, Uranus is also an outer planet like Neptune, has a really long orbit around the sun, takes 84 years to move through one of its orbits. And there is a good chance that this will be the only time that you or me get to experience Uranus in Gemini. Now, Gemini rules your third house of communication and perception and intelligence and learning. Uranus will be stationing retrograde in early September, moving back into Taurus where it's been for the last 7 years or so, and then not returning to Gemini until next April. But then it will be there until 2033. And this to me is a symbol for Aries, that you are like shifting your consciousness about some things, and maybe you're having fluctuations in your mental energy and in your communications. Now, this does coincide with this feeling of fatigue. And as I mentioned before, like some of you might be feeling kind of like a receding of certain focal points of attention that you've had. And so I do want to say that especially in July, it feels super important that you give yourself opportunities to mentally rest. Like relax your brain. Don't need to focus it, right? Like if you have to be focused a lot, then make sure that you're giving yourself time away from focusing. And I don't mean time scrolling on your phone. I mean like put your devices down and go out and get some fresh air. Be slow in your consciousness and allow yourself to decompress a little bit. I also want to say that I feel that this is a very complementary influence for your creativity. And because it's coming around the same time as this Mercury retrograde, I want to encourage you to think about creative practices that are collaborative and playful with other people. I also want to encourage you to do the things that Gemini likes to do, which is engage with language and writing. Also like queerness, playfulness, letting yourself experiment with things. This goes along with what I was talking about with Mercury's retrograde. Get out there, right? Like let yourself have a good time. Uranus coming into this part of your chart can also help you make new friends and connect with people in new and different ways. It can inspire you to take interest in the world around you in new and different ways. And it can really bring in some exciting kinds of inspiration if you have the space for it. So please give yourself space. Space. There's a full moon on July 10th in Capricorn. This is the opposite sign of Cancer and also a fellow cardinal sign in your cardinal family. All in all, I'm going to say that I think that this season really brings a lot of emphasis on intentionality for you and what you are trying to do with your life. But the emphasis is not so much on the doing as it is on the being, and how states of being are necessary for the doing of it all. So if you don't have time and space to just be, how are you going to be out there being responsible and doing a whole bunch? You're going to burn out. If you don't have fun and like access to your own creativity, then the seriousness of it all is going to get too serious real fast. So I'm going to leave it there, Aries. For your embodiment practice, I want to offer you the practice of yielding. And I'm going to talk you through it right now, but I actually hope that you will take a longer time and go do this outside. If you have access to an outside place where you can lie down on the actual ground, that is the best. And you can also do this anytime, anywhere and in any shape. And I'm sitting, so I'm just going to stay as I am while I talk to you, but you might want to lie down. You can also stand, you can dance, you can do whatever you want. But the practice of yielding is a practice of deep relating. And it's really wonderful to do it lying down, because then you can deeply relate through your whole body to the ground. And the earth is the best yielding companion, although sometimes other people are good companions for this, as are pets, potentially. So if you have a person or a pet who likes to snuggle and cuddle, you can also do this with them. But I'm going to suggest practicing with the earth. And the practice is to lie down or to sit down or to be in contact with the ground. And then really bring your attention to the point of contact. Allow the weight of your body to be given fully to the ground. Your breath can help you so much with this. Breathing in, collecting your awareness around any places of tension. Breathing out, inviting them to relax any amount that's possible. And the entirety of this practice is presence in the space of contact. So wherever your body is touching the earth, where you are experiencing gravity, let your attention be there. As you notice these connections, you might notice also where your body is holding up or in or away from contact. And our nervous systems and muscles, especially if we've been stressed and working and focusing, are often in states of attention or their sympathetic response. And they sometimes need reminders that it is okay to relax and let go. And again, you can invite any amount that is available of relaxation or release. And if parts aren't available to relax or release, that is also okay. Sometimes they're holding on for a really good reason, and we just want to give them their own time, their own space. My invitation to you here, Aries, is to let yourself be held by gravity. And in that holding, in that contact, in that relationship, remind yourself that you don't need to be anything that you're not already for the earth. The earth doesn't need you to be a professional. The earth doesn't need you to have X amount of money in your bank account. The earth doesn't need you to do anything other than connect with it. As we connect more deeply with the earth, we become more available for the earth's messages. Can you just listen to the earth through your own weight? And receive the supportive contact of the earth's presence and gravity, and let that move through your whole body. Now, you could stay with this practice for as much time as you wanted. And if you stayed with it for a while, you might end up falling asleep. And if that was the case, Aries, then I would say yay, because I think some of you need a nap. And I hope that all of you feel some amount of benefit in this reading, and that practice of yielding is supportive for you and something that you can take with you and modify and adapt and play with and apply in your life. You can do this anytime, anywhere, with some intention. And I think that yielding and coming into contact and relationship with the earth would be a profoundly supportive practice for you in Cancer season and beyond. Aries, I'm sending you lots of love. Bye for now. Thanks so much much for tuning in with me, y'all. If this message feels supportive for you, please help support me by liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing this work with your friends and networks. Check the show notes for other ways to support the work at Embodied Astrology, including getting your 2025 year ahead readings, which are now 25% discounted, or coming to the Cancer Season workshop, which I'll be co-facilitating with the one and only Janata Petrus, or attend one of my weekly classes or the bi-monthly chart reading study groups with Alisha, or become a sustaining donor. There are so many ways to support this work and so many ways this work wants to support you. All that information and more in the show notes. I'm wishing you all the best in Cancer season and beyond.